Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor. Call you sponsor. Call you sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call.
So much. So there's two things. One is I really got clear like the other week, and it's now just coming back to me that there is a difference because I've been looking for work, right? And so there's a difference between selling and being of service and sharing.
Mm.
And that for me is like a clear distinction. Like, and what I'm hearing is that you are sharing, right? There's the self-judgment, there's the doubt, there's that other voice that's there. The other thing that's been coming up as you're talking is I'm envisioning, and I think this is our like one of our merch situations in a few, is a puzzle. Like we are all part of the same thing. Our pieces, I judge my pieces, like the curve and the thing, and why does it not have a hole in this side and not this other projecting? You know, why is it just wavy on this side? You know, it's like I'm judging, but it's not just a puzzle; it's a mirrored puzzle. So I see my reflection in others, and I judge and judge and judge, but we're all connected. And lest I forget, I get so involved in the image that I'm seeing versus actually just appreciating how they fit into the entire picture.
Mm. Oh my God, that is really, really good. Because I'm picturing this tray of like puzzle pieces that aren't on the puzzle.
Mm.
And they're like shuffled in there and they're like, like me first. That's how me first, you know? And then when you get plugged in, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, we're all one.
It just fits, right?
It fits. Oh yeah. And I get these downloads sometime. And another cool thing that happened was my son's dad was already planning to take my son and his girlfriend to the Getty. And I asked if we could all go see this movie after they finished. And he ended up inviting me to go to the Getty with them, which is really nice. So we go and there's an exhibit and my son's dad was like, I really want to see this William Blake exhibit. I didn't know who William Blake was, you know. I go to the exhibit and Sam, I almost just start bawling. I mean, it's this person that did etchings and he was so consumed. Everybody wanted him to do their etchings like royalty, and he didn't have time to work on his own art because they were paying these huge commissions and he had to take them. So he invented a way to do printing and copy so that he could just, you know, get theirs done out and he could focus on his own art, which that in itself is amazing. So he's like one of the first inventors of like printing simply because he wanted to do his own art, right? And then the other part of it was, as I'm reading one of his things, he was one of the people that didn't believe in this punishing God. He didn't believe in a God that judged and said people were wrong. And somebody asked him about God and he said, yeah, God, I am God. You are God. Everyone is God. And who knew that I'm going to be having this spiritual revelation and randomly get invited to go see this exhibit, and this person that lived in the 1800s is going to say what my spiritual experience for the last 48 hours has been a knowing behind my belly button.
That is so beautiful. I have been tickling the idea that I would play the game of yes because I lean as a no, and I would be the one that would agree to go, and then when I got there be like, not so sure about this, you know, which happened to me this week, right? I was having a beautiful dinner before the year end with a bunch of friends, and someone said, you know, I had a really nice time. We were seated next to each other, a really nice time. I'd love to spend more time with you. You know, I was like, yes, yes. And so we had agreed to a time in the new year, which happened to be this week. And then I woke up and I said, it was like at 11 or whatever time. And I woke up at 6 and I was like, why did I agree to this meeting? Because it doesn't make sense. It's not even in the same borough I'm living in currently. And what was I thinking? Well, it sounded really great. I was probably swept up in connectedness with people. And I said, my loving parents said, it's okay. We can do this. You're going to just reach out, hard confirm, and you're going to allow whatever comes back. If they're like, actually doesn't work, reschedule. If it does work, you're going to go. You're just, the wisdom today is you're just going to go and it will be fantastic. And I literally felt like Dora the Explorer. They approved and or confirmed, and I felt like Dora the Explorer going into another borough, like no idea where I was, like, and it was really I was more present. I was more connected. I think there were a few tears throughout this like 2-hour meeting of us just connecting and sharing, and it was just so beautiful, and so God, it's like I don't know, right? I just need to continue getting connected to my best self, the higher self, higher power, love, all of these things. And then what we've shared before, wisdom to know the difference, right? And that comes for me in the moment by being connected. And there have been a lot of actual beautiful moments if I review, and I love that you are bringing this exercise and tool. And I definitely would like to experiment with this letter at some point within the next 7 days of my life. I tend to be more in my head, and the judging, continue, and just noticing. And it's the loving thing of like, oh, it's okay. Like, that's the pattern. That's my pattern. That's what will they think and how will this look? And, it's a whole situation, and it's the breaking of the pattern, the breaking of the plaque, as it were, and to just really go through,
Yeah, exactly. And let go of my attachment to the results and wear it like a loose garment. And that's what they say. I love what you said about feeling like Dora the Explorer, because that's what they say about when you move to a new city or when you go on a vacation somewhere, that you're seeing it in this childlike wonderment and you're open, you're more receptive to having like miracles happen. That's what, like when I first got sober, it was like God deal, because I was so open to these new experiences. And now it's like, I expect God deals. I'm like, excuse me, where's the God deal that I ordered like 4 minutes ago? Can it please show up on a silver cloche now?
Yes, all of it.
Instead of having that, curiosity and that wonderment and what could happen and how cool it is when I show up with that type of mindset of curiosity.
I love that I'm just hearing this bell and we're at our final 5. What? Do you have a question? Do you want me to ask a question?
It's me. I am question. And the question is, speaking of God deals, what is a God deal that you have experienced recently where it's like a synchronicity or something that you're like, okay, this is spiritual? And I know you just shared one of them, but we gotta go with a different one.
Okay, so what is a God deal that I've experienced this week or recently? So I do a walk and talk with my bestie, and who's spiritual but not program. And we are aligned, like similarly to you and Glennon. Like we have just, we used to live together in a whole different area. Like we were then lost contact and then reunited, you know what I mean? Like minding my own business. And, now all of a sudden we're neighbors, like literally live across the street, and we do walk and talks every week, and it's like we're supposed to be in each other's lives, period, And they helped me with something that, because they're not necessarily 12-step, but they're spiritual. And what it was this thing of, she knows I love shopping. So she's like, Sam, you just need to pick a store and go to the store, And I said, I don't know. I've been conflicted as to what is the store I'm going to. And she's like, just pick a store. It doesn't really matter at this point, And so and she's like, but go with an open hand. And I was like, huh? And she's like, I said, listen, I have the mind of an alcoholic. So you tell me to go to the store, or I decide what store I want to go to, and I'm going to that store. Get out of the way. I'm going to this store. That's my third step. I'm going to be at that store. And she said, yeah, but it's going with an open hand. Right. And so she said, you may run into a store on the way that's of interest to you. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And she said, and you may like something in that other store. And I said, yeah, but then the alcoholic mind comes back. And then I start doing a pros and cons, because I'm still fixated on the first store I was going to go to. And so the similar thing happened to me this week, where I picked a store and I walked to that store. And I had this whole story in mind of staying open, right? And I ended up at another store, and I ended up meeting somebody at the other store that I don't know where it's ending up, right? Is this career? Is this romance? Is this fight? I have no effing idea. But that wouldn't have happened if I was just continually marching to that first store. There wouldn't have been this sense of wonder and awe and, oh my God, this is so interesting. And oh my God, I'm really loving. I wasn't in flow. I was in like, what would love do? What would love say? Like, where is this feeling of energy and openness and freedom and creativity? I was like in that vibe, versus this, no, I'm going there and we're going to get there the quickest way. We're going to get, And so that was my experience this week. It's like, and I still don't know what's happening. I did end up still going to the first store that I thought I was going to go to. And it looks like it's like a no, as far as it was this job opportunity. And there's still, I don't know. I'm still wondering, like, which puzzle, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And so that's my long answer to a very short question. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's beautiful. It's exactly what we were talking about before, where it's just having the open mind. I think they call it like the childlike mind, and being willing to, Michael Singer talks about how we have it all formed. And we're watching it come to us, and then it crumbles because it's not like what we thought. But if we don't form an idea, it leaves all the possibilities open. And we can see them because we're not like fixated on how we thought it should come, Okay, so mine is, I am working on a cover for a book. And I sent, a couple of examples to you and to somebody else. And I've been working on this cover for a really long time, because, the other option is to work on the actual book.
Yes.
Like, how annoying is that? Let's just focus on the cover for, 6 months and try different design ideas. And then the thing is like, my goal was to be finished by December 31st of 2023. And I'm not, but I jumped back in it. Like, that deadline that I missed, it got me going. So I was still doing the cover, and then something happened, and I found it. I'm like, that's it. Like, even the one I sent you, that wasn't it. Nothing was hitting behind the belly button. And I finally was like, oh my God, that's it. And I did it, and I'm like, this is it. Like this 2 days later didn't feel like I needed to change it. Right. I was like, that is it. And so for 4 days, I'm walking around like, I found it. I got it. Now I can start working on the inside, which I did. And then all of a sudden, after 4 days, I realized there's a painting in my house that I did of my mother that almost looks exactly like the cover. I mean, they're so similar. They're both side profiles. Like, it is so similar. And I'm like, okay, obviously that's my subconscious, that sees this picture, sees this painting I did years ago all the time. And I guess just got in there. But it took me 4 days to like go, I picked the cover that's me. And that's the painting in my house of my mother. Like, it was just so cool to know that we can be having these things that seem so disconjointed, but when we take that POV back, that's another thing that Glennon stole from me. Sam, what do I always say? I've said it here too. Like when I'm in self, it's like Google Maps where your POV is on the street looking at your own house. And that when you're in higher self or whatever, your POV is like that bird's eye view of Google Maps. Okay, just go listen to our podcast. Okay, like
I'm gonna listen to the other one. This thing, I'm just affirming that you guys are soul sisters.
Okay, I like it. Yeah,
it's literally only a matter of divine timing that there will be an intersection, and like, I just. The synchronicity is, you know what I mean? It literally, it's not even comical, but yes.
Thank you for affirming that. Yeah. So positive spin, agreed. But yeah, that's the thing is like, my perspective can change, and a miracle is a shift in perspective. So, okay. Woof, we did it.
We did it. Thank you so much. I live for this because
Ditto.
I really think it's, it's what we hear, in the rooms, like wherever two of us are gathered, which I think Bill took from the Bible, right? It's like, there is the divine, there is this higher purpose, higher self, really the connection, it's the plug.
Yeah, the magic can get in there because it's not just one person making up their thing. Like it's like spark of ideas, and it's just so much fun. I really enjoy it. So, bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Love you long time.
Love you.
Call your sponsor.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
Send us an email with comments, questions, or concerns, bcysponsor@gmail.com.
Don't forget to rate 5 stars.